March 15th, my 30th birthday. I woke up at 7 a.m. to absolute silence. No text messages, no calls, no cards slipped under my apartment door. Nothing. I lay there in bed staring at my phone, waiting for something that I knew, deep down, wasn't coming. Because this was the 5th year in a row, 5 consecutive birthdays where my family had completely forgotten I existed. Not just forgot to send a card or call a little late. I mean total complete radio silence. Like I'd never been born at all. And the worst part? I knew they hadn't actually forgotten. You can't forget something 5 years in a row. That's not forgetting. That's a choice. That's a statement. That's your family telling you, as clearly as if they'd written it in skywriting, that you don't matter enough to remember. My name is Lily, and I'm 30 years old today. I'm a marketing manager at a tech company in Austin, Texas, making $98,000 a year. I live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment in South Congress that costs $1,650 a month. I drive a 2020 Mazda CX-5. I have a 401k, a savings account with about $40,000 in it. And until very recently, I had a family I thought loved me. I have one sister, Madison, who's 27. She's 3 years younger than me, works as a social media influencer with about 200,000 Instagram followers, and she is the absolute center of my family's universe. Everything revolves around Madison. Her content, her brand deals, her boyfriend, her life. And I've watched, year after year, as my family has thrown her increasingly elaborate birthday parties while somehow managing to completely forget mine. Not just forget to throw me a party, forget the day exists at all. Let me paint you a picture of what Madison's birthdays look like. Last year, for her 26th birthday, my parents rented out a rooftop venue in downtown Austin. They hired a professional event planner. They had custom cocktails named after Madison. They had a 7-tier cake from the most expensive bakery in the city. They hired a photographer and videographer to document the entire night. They invited 150 people. The party cost somewhere around $35,000. I know because I saw the invoice. My mother left it on the kitchen counter when I stopped by their house a week after the party, and I took a photo of it. Not because I was planning anything at the time, just because I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Proof that the disparity was real. Madison posted about her party for weeks. Instagram stories, TikToks, YouTube vlogs. The hashtag was Madison turns 26. It trended locally. And me? On my 29th birthday last year, I got nothing. Not a text. Not a call. Not a card. Nothing. I spent the evening alone in my apartment, eating Thai takeout and watching Netflix, pretending it was just another day. Pretending it didn't hurt. But it did hurt. It hurt so much I could barely breathe. So this morning, my 30th birthday, when I woke up to the same silence, I wasn't surprised. I was just done. Done pretending it didn't matter. Done making excuses for them. Done telling myself they were busy or distracted or that birthdays weren't that important anyway. Because here's the thing they didn't know. I'd been documenting everything. For 5 years, I'd been keeping meticulous records of every birthday, every party, every dollar spent, every social media post, every family gathering. I had spreadsheets. I had screenshots. I had receipts. Literal receipts. I had proof of exactly how differently they treated me versus Madison. And this year, I wasn't going to stay silent. This year, I was going to make sure they never forgot my birthday again. I got out of bed, made coffee, and opened my laptop. Pulled up the folder I'd been maintaining for 5 years. Let me show you what 5 years of being forgotten looks like when you document it. My 26th birthday, 5 years ago. This was the first year they forgot. Or at least the first year it was obvious. I'd just gotten a promotion at work, and I was excited to celebrate with my family. I mentioned my birthday to my mom on the phone a week before. She said, "Oh, that's nice, honey." No offer to celebrate. No plans made. The day of my birthday came and went. No call, no text, no acknowledgement. 3 days later, I mentioned it to my mom. "Hey, my birthday was on Tuesday." She paused. Oh my goodness. I completely forgot. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart. It's been such a busy week." She sounded genuinely apologetic. I believed her. "It's okay, Mom. It happens. We'll celebrate next time I see you, okay?" Okay, we never did. 2 months later, Madison's 23rd birthday. My parents threw her a party at their house. About 50 people. Catered food. Professional bartender. Live music. I helped set up. I helped serve food. I helped clean up. And the whole time, I told myself it was fine. Madison's birthday was more important because she had more friends. Because she was more social. Because she was the fun one. I was just the quiet older sister who worked in an office and didn't have an exciting life worth celebrating. That's what I told myself, my 27th birthday. No call, no text, no card. Radio silence. Madison's 24th birthday that same year. My parents rented a party bus and took 30 of her friends wine tasting in Hill Country. Cost approximately $4,500. I wasn't invited. It's a friend's thing, Madison explained when I asked. Not a family thing, but our parents paid for it. Our parents organized it. Our parents were there. My 28th birthday. Nothing. Madison's 25th birthday. My parents threw her a destination celebration in Cabo San Lucas. They rented a villa for the weekend, invited 20 of Madison's closest friends. Cost approximately $18,000. I found out about it from Instagram. Saw the photos of my parents, my sister, and her friends on a beach in Mexico celebrating. Nobody had mentioned this trip to me. Nobody had invited me. Nobody had thought to say, "Hey, we're going to Mexico for Madison's birthday, do you want to come?" When I asked my mom about it later, she said, "Oh, honey, it was just a small thing. Very last minute. We didn't think you'd be able to get off work." I'd had vacation days available. I'd have gone if anyone had asked. My 29th birthday. The one last year. Nothing. Not even after I directly mentioned it to my mother the day before. "My birthday's tomorrow," I'd said on the phone. "Mm-hmm," she'd responded, distracted. "That's nice, dear." The next day, silence. Madison's 26th birthday. The $35,000 rooftop extravaganza I mentioned earlier. By this point, I'd started documenting everything. I had a spreadsheet with dates, events, estimated costs, social media posts, everything. I was building a case, though I didn't know yet what I'd do with it. And now today, my 30th birthday, year 5 of being forgotten. Milestone birthday. The big 30. The kind of birthday that should matter. The kind families make a big deal about. And once again, nothing. But this time I had a plan. I'd been planning it for 3 months, ever since I realized my 30th was approaching, and that my family would almost certainly forget it again. I'd been saving money specifically for this, and this morning I put that plan into motion. At 9 a.m., I called the W Hotel in downtown Austin. "Hi, I'd like to inquire about renting your rooftop space for a private event." "Certainly. What date were you looking at?" "March 22nd, 1 week from today." "Let me check availability." "May I ask what type of event?" "A birthday party. Mine. For about 80 guests." "Wonderful. Yes, we have availability that evening. Our rooftop rental starts at $5,000 for 4 hours, with a minimum food and beverage spend of $8,000. "Perfect. I'd like to book it." I gave them my credit card information, confirmed the details, hung up, and immediately felt this rush of adrenaline. This was really happening. Next, I called a catering company, ordered premium appetizers, a full bar, a custom cake, another $6,000. Then I called a photographer I knew from work, booked her for the evening. Pen $200, then a DJ, $800, then I designed invitations. Beautiful, professional invitations with my name in gold lettering. "Lily turns 30, a celebration 5 years in the making." I made a guest list. 80 people. Friends from work, friends from college, friends from my gym, friends from my book club, acquaintances I'd wanted to get to know better. Basically everyone in my life who'd ever made me feel seen and valued. People who remembered my birthday. People who'd texted me this morning to say happy birthday. People who actually cared. And notably absent from the guest list, my parents. My sister Madison, my Aunt Karen, my Uncle Mike, my cousins, anyone from my family. Not a single one. I sent the invitations via email and text that afternoon. Within 2 hours, I had 45 RSVPs. People were excited. People were coming. People wanted to celebrate with me. That felt good. Really good. But I wasn't done. Because this wasn't just about having a party. This was about making sure my family knew they weren't invited, making sure they understood what they'd done, making sure they could never forget my birthday again. So I did something strategic. I posted on Facebook. Just a simple post. Excited to celebrate my 30th birthday next week with the people who actually remember I exist. Rooftop party at the W Hotel. Invitations sent to those who matter. You know who you are. I didn't tag anyone. Didn't mention my family by name. Just left it there. Public. Visible. Within an hour, I had 80 likes and 30 comments. Friends saying they couldn't wait. Friends saying I deserved it. Friends saying they were honored to be invited. And I knew my family would see it, because they followed me on social media. They might forget my birthday, but they definitely checked my Facebook. Sure enough, at 6 p.m. my phone rang. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. I let it go to voicemail again. Then a text. Lily, honey, I saw your Facebook post. What party? At the W Hotel? Why didn't you tell us you were planning something? I stared at that text for a long time. Why didn't I tell them? Why didn't I tell them? Because they'd forgotten my birthday for 5 years straight. Because they'd never once thought to plan something for me. Because I'd spent 5 birthdays being invisible while Madison got tens of thousands of dollars spent on her celebrations. That's why. I texted back. Just a small gathering with friends. Nothing big. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Mom, but we're your family. Of course we should be there. Send us the details. Me. It's an intimate event. Limited space. I've already sent invitations to everyone who's coming. Mom. Lily, this is ridiculous. You can't have a birthday party and not invite your family. What will people think? What will people think? Not, I'm sorry we forgot your birthday. Not, we should have been celebrating you all along. Just, what will people think? Me. I'm sure people will think exactly what I want them to think. I turned off my phone. The week between my actual birthday and the party was intense. My mother called 47 times. I have the call log. I documented it. Madison called 12 times. My father called 8 times. My Aunt Karen called 6 times. I didn't answer a single call. They left voicemails. Mom's first voicemail. Lily, sweetheart, I don't understand what's going on. Why are you shutting us out? We're your family. We love you. Please call me back so we can talk about this. Madison's first voicemail. Lily, what the hell? Mom is freaking out about your party. Why are you being so dramatic? It's just a birthday. Call me. Dad's first voicemail. Lily, this behavior is unacceptable. You're causing your mother a lot of stress. Whatever you're upset about, we can discuss it like adults. But this silent treatment is childish. I saved every voicemail. Backed them up. They also texted a lot. Mom, please talk to us. We don't understand what we did wrong. Madison, are you seriously this upset about birthday stuff? Grow up. Dad, your mother is very hurt by your actions. I expect you to call her today. Aunt Karen. Lily, I heard about the situation with your party. Family is everything. Don't let pride ruin your relationships. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I spent the week finalizing party details, confirming vendors, updating the guest list as more RSVPs came in. By the day of the party, I had 68 confirmed guests. Every single one of them was someone who'd never forgotten my birthday. March 2nd arrived, the day of my party. I woke up feeling nervous and excited and defiant all at once. This was it. This was my statement. I got my hair done, bought a new dress, emerald green, that made me feel powerful. I did my makeup carefully. At 6 p.m., I arrived at the W Hotel. The rooftop was perfect. String lights everywhere. Views of downtown Austin lit up against the evening sky. Tables set with white linens and gold accents. A bar stocked with top-shelf liquor. Appetizer stations with beautiful food. My custom cake, 3 tiers, decorated with gold leaf and fresh flowers. Everything I'd envisioned. Everything I'd paid for myself. Everything I'd planned without any help from my family. Guests started arriving at 6:30. My work friends. My college friends. My gym friends. My book club. People I'd met through various hobbies and activities over the years. People who knew me, really knew me. Not just as Madison's older sister or my parents' less interesting daughter, but as Lily. As for myself, they brought gifts. They hugged me. They told me happy birthday. They told me I looked beautiful. They told me they were so glad to be there. And I felt seen, really truly seen, maybe for the first time in 5 years. By 7 p.m. the party was in full swing. Music playing, people dancing, conversations flowing, laughter everywhere. It was perfect. It was exactly what I'd wanted. At 7:30 p.m. my phone started buzzing. I'd turned it back on to take photos. Big mistake. Mom calling. Madison calling. Dad calling. All of them simultaneously. I declined the calls. Then the text started. Mom. Lily, we're outside the hotel. Please let us come up. We just want to talk to you. We want to celebrate with you. My stomach dropped. They were here. They'd actually come to the hotel. Madison, we're in the lobby. The front desk won't tell us which floor. Come down or we're making a scene. Dad, stop this nonsense immediately. Come down here and let us into your party. I stood there on that beautiful rooftop, surrounded by people who'd shown up for me, and I had a choice. I could go down there. I could let them up. I could let them hijack my party the way they hijacked everything else in my life, making it about them and their hurt feelings instead of about me. Or I could stay. I could enjoy my party. I could let them wait. I chose to stay. I texted back one message to all 3 of them. I'm celebrating my 30th birthday with people who remembered it. You're not on the guest list. Please leave. Then I turned my phone off again, put it in my purse, went back to my party. My friend Sarah found me a few minutes later. Hey, you okay? You looked stressed for a second there. I'm perfect, I said. And I meant it. We danced, we ate, we drank, we laughed. At 8 p.m., they brought out my cake and everyone sang happy birthday. I blew out the candles and made a wish. I wished for the courage to keep choosing myself. At 9 p.m., I gave a short speech. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanked them for being the kind of people who showed up. Told them how much it meant to me to be surrounded by people who saw me and valued me. I didn't mention my family by name, but everyone there knew. Some of them had asked where my parents were, where my sister was. I just smiled and said, they had other plans. My photographer took hundreds of photos throughout the night. Beautiful photos of me laughing, dancing, celebrating. Photos with my friends. Photos of the venue, the cake, the decorations. Every detail is documented. At 11 p.m., the party wound down. Guests started leaving, hugging me goodbye, thanking me for a wonderful evening, telling me it was the best party they'd been to in years. By midnight, it was just me and a few close friends helping clean up and pack leftover cake. That was incredible, my friend James said. You deserve this. All of this. Thank you for being here, I said. Always, he said. And he meant it. I got home at 1 a.m., exhausted and exhilarated. Checked my phone. 23 missed calls, 47 text messages, 3 voicemails, all from my family. I didn't read them or listen to them. Not yet. Instead, I uploaded photos to Facebook. Beautiful photos from the party. My cake, my friends, me in my green dress, smiling genuinely, surrounded by love. I captioned it simply, 30 and thriving. Celebrated with 68 people who actually remembered my birthday. Thank you to everyone who showed up. You know who you are. And to those who didn't, you know why. I tagged everyone who'd been there. Posted it, public, visible. Then I went to bed. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. My Facebook post had exploded. 300 likes, 150 comments, 80 shares. People were commenting things like, you deserve all of this and more. This party looked incredible. True friends show up. Proud of you. But also, there were comments from my family. Mom had commented, Lily, please call me. We need to talk about this privately, not on social media. Madison had commented, this is so petty. You're publicly humiliating our family because you're jealous. Aunt Karen had commented, family is supposed to be there for each other. This public shaming is disappointing. I deleted their comments. It was my post, my birthday, my space. Then I checked my messages. I had a long message from my mother. Lily, I don't know what's gotten into you, but this behavior is unacceptable. We came to your party to support you and you wouldn't even let us in. You're embarrassing us in front of the entire family and all our friends. Everyone is asking why we weren't at your party. What are we supposed to tell them? That our daughter is having some kind of breakdown and shutting us out for no reason? You need to take down that Facebook post immediately and apologize. We love you, but you're being incredibly hurtful and selfish. Call me today. I read it 3 times. No apology for forgetting my birthday. No acknowledgement of 5 years of being ignored. Just anger that I'd embarrassed them. Just demands that I apologize to them. I opened a new document on my laptop. Started writing. This wasn't just a Facebook post anymore. This was a full accounting. I spent Sunday compiling everything. Every birthday they'd forgotten. Every party they'd thrown for Madison. Every dollar they'd spent. Every social media post. Every receipt. Every piece of evidence I'd been collecting for 5 years. I created a comprehensive document. Formatted it like a report. Graphs showing the money spent on Madison's birthdays versus mine. Screenshots of my parents' Facebook posts celebrating Madison year after year, with no equivalent posts for me. Copies of the text messages where I'd mentioned my birthday and been ignored. Everything. The document was 18 pages long. At the top, I titled it, 5 Years of Being Forgotten, a comprehensive record of differential treatment. I sent it to myself. Backed it up. Then I did something bold. I posted it publicly. Not all 18 pages. That would be too much. But I created an Instagram post, a series of images. Image 1, a graph showing money spent on birthdays. Madison's bars towering high. Mine non-existent. Caption, Exhibit A, financial investment in celebrations. Image 2, screenshots of social media posts. My parents' Facebook posts for Madison's birthdays over 5 years, effusive and loving. No equivalent posts for me. Caption, Exhibit B, public acknowledgement. Image 3, text message screenshots, identifying information blurred. Me mentioning my birthday, being ignored. Caption, Exhibit C, awareness and indifference. Image 4, a photo from Madison's $35,000 rooftop party last year. Then a photo of me alone in my apartment on my 29th birthday, holding takeout. Caption, Exhibit D, the contrast. Image 5, a photo from my party at the W Hotel, me surrounded by 68 friends, genuinely happy. Caption, Exhibit E, the solution. When your family forgets you for 5 years, you build a new family with people who won't. I posted it. Public account. All my followers could see it. Within an hour, it had 500 likes. Within 2 hours, 200 likes. Within 4 hours, it had been shared to Twitter, to Reddit, to TikTok. People were commenting, "This is heartbreaking and powerful. Good for you for standing up for yourself. Family isn't always blood. They don't deserve you." But I also got comments from family members. Cousins I barely knew. "This is a private family matter. Why are you airing this publicly? Aunt Karen, you're tearing this family apart." And then Madison posted her own response on her Instagram to her 200,000 followers. When your sister has a full mental breakdown because she's jealous of your life and tries to make you look like the bad guy, family isn't perfect. We all forget things sometimes. But publicly shaming your family because you didn't get enough attention, that's toxic. That's narcissistic. That's manipulative. I love my sister, but she needs help, not validation from strangers online. Her post got 15,000 likes. Her comments were full of her followers agreeing with her. Your sister sounds exhausting. Some people need to be the victim. You're so mature for handling this with grace. I screenshot Madison's post, added it to my evidence folder, because this was perfect. This was her showing exactly who she was, calling me narcissistic for wanting to be remembered, calling me toxic for pointing out 5 years of being ignored, calling me manipulative for documenting the truth. Monday morning, I woke up to a text from my father. "Your mother is devastated. Your sister is getting attacked online because of your posts. This has gone too far. Take down everything immediately and apologize to your family. If you don't, there will be consequences." Consequences? What consequences? What could they possibly do to me that was worse than 5 years of being forgotten? I texted back, "No." That afternoon, my mother showed up at my apartment, knocked on my door. I saw her through the peephole but didn't open it. "Lily, I know you're in there. Your car is here. Please open the door. We need to talk." I stayed silent. "Lily, please. I'm your mother. Just let me in so we can discuss this like adults." I opened the door, but left the chain on. "What do you want, Mom?" She looked tired, older than I remembered. "I want to understand what's happening. Why you're doing this. Why you're so angry. You really don't know?" "No, honey, I don't. You're upset about your birthday, I understand that. And I'm sorry we forgot. But this public attack on your family, this isn't like you. You didn't just forget this year, Mom. You've forgotten for 5 years. 5 birthdays in a row. That's not true." "It is true. I have documentation." "Okay, maybe we've been distracted. Life gets busy. But you're an adult, Lily. You don't need us to throw you a party." "But Madison does? Madison gets tens of thousands of dollars spent on her birthdays. But I'm an adult who doesn't need a party. Madison is different. She has that online presence. Her birthdays are content. They're part of her career. So I don't matter because I don't have 200,000 Instagram followers? That's not what I'm saying." "Then what are you saying?" "I'm saying you're blowing this out of proportion. You're hurting people who love you because you're feeling left out. That's immature." "I'm not feeling left out, Mom. I am left out, objectively, measurably. Documentably left out. I have 5 years of proof. Proof? Lily, you sound paranoid. Paranoid. I have spreadsheets. I have receipts. I have screenshots. Would you like to see them? This is insane. You're acting insane. No, Mom. What's insane is forgetting your daughter's birthday for 5 consecutive years while spending $100,000 on your other daughter's celebrations. That's insane. She stared at me. It hasn't been $100,000. Actually, it has. I added it up. 5 years of Madison's parties, trips, and celebrations. 103,400. Want to see the breakdown? She didn't respond. I thought so, I said. Lily, please. Take down the posts. Come to dinner this weekend. Let's talk about this properly. Why? So you can tell me I'm being dramatic? So Madison can call me narcissistic? So Dad can threaten me with consequences? No, thank you. What do you want from us? I want you to admit what you did. I want you to apologize. Actually apologize, not just sorry you're upset. And I want you to understand that you don't get to come to my life anymore and forget I exist until it's convenient for you. We never forgot you exist. You forgot I was born. Every year. For 5 years. That's pretty close. I closed the door. She knocked again. Lily, please. I didn't answer. Eventually, she left. That week was intense. My Instagram post continued to spread. Someone had screenshot it and posted it to Reddit, where it got 40,000 upvotes on a subreddit about family dynamics. People were sharing their own stories of being the forgotten child, the scapegoat, the less favored sibling. My post touched a nerve. I started getting messages from strangers. Hundreds of them. People thanked me for sharing my story. People telling me I wasn't alone. People telling me I'd given them courage to set boundaries with their own families. One message in particular stood out. It was from a woman named Jessica. Hi, Lily. I hope this isn't weird. I saw your Instagram post and I had to reach out. My family did something similar. I'm the oldest of 4. And for years, my parents threw huge celebrations for my younger siblings while barely acknowledging my birthdays. I thought I was being too sensitive. I thought I was the problem. But seeing your post, seeing the evidence laid out so clearly, it validated something I'd felt for years but couldn't articulate. You're not crazy. You're not dramatic. You're not narcissistic. You're someone who was treated poorly and finally stood up for yourself. Thank you for sharing your story. It helped me more than you know. I read that message 3 times. I cried a little. Then I responded, thank you for sharing this. You're not too sensitive. You deserve to be celebrated. Your feelings are valid. We messaged back and forth for a while. She told me about her family. I told her more about mine. By the end of the conversation, we'd connected on Instagram and promised to stay in touch. It felt good, like I'd found someone who really understood. More messages like that came throughout the week. A man named David, who'd been the forgotten middle child. A woman named Amy, whose family had always prioritized her brother. A non-binary person named River, whose family forgot their birthday entirely for 7 years. Each message was a reminder that I wasn't alone, that this pattern was real, that what I'd experienced was valid. But I also got negative messages. People telling me I was entitled. People saying I was too old to care about birthdays. People saying I was tearing my family apart over nothing. One message said, "You're a spoiled brat. Not everyone gets birthday parties. Grow up." I deleted those messages. They didn't matter. On Friday, 6 days after my party, my family tried a different approach. They sent my grandmother, my father's mother, Nana Ruth, who was 83 and who I'd always been close with. She called me Friday morning. "Lily, sweetheart, it's Nana. Can you come by for tea this afternoon? I'd like to see you." I couldn't say no to Nana Ruth. She'd never forgotten my birthday. She always sent me cards and called me. She was one of the good ones. I drove to her house that afternoon. She lived in a small cottage in Travis Heights, surrounded by rose bushes she tended meticulously. She answered the door with a hug. "Come in, darling. I've made lemon cake." We sat in her kitchen, the same kitchen where she'd taught me to bake when I was little. Ate cake, drank tea, made small talk about her garden, my job, the weather. Finally, she said, "Your parents are very upset." "I know. They asked me to talk to you, to convince you to take down your posts and apologize." "Are you going to?" She smiled. "No, dear. I'm going to tell you that I'm proud of you." I looked up, surprised. "You are?" "I am. I've watched your parents treat you and Madison differently your whole lives. I've said something about it before. Many times. They don't listen. They think I'm just a meddling old woman. But I see it. I've always seen it. Why didn't you ever say anything to me? I did, dear. Remember when you were 16 and Madison was 13? You came to me crying because your parents had given Madison a car for her birthday and you'd gotten a $50 gift card. I did remember. I'd forgotten about that, but now it came flooding back. You told me that sometimes parents play favorites and it wasn't my fault, I said. I did, and I meant it. What your parents have done to you isn't fair. It never has been. And I think standing up for yourself, documenting what happened, and refusing to accept that treatment anymore is exactly what you should do. But the rest of the family thinks I'm being dramatic. The rest of the family is uncomfortable because you're exposing something they'd rather ignore. It's easier to tell you to be quiet than to admit that your parents have been treating you poorly for years. So you don't think I should apologize? Absolutely not. I think you should keep those posts up. I think you should keep your boundaries. And I think you should live your life without apologizing for taking up space. I hugged her. Thank you, Nana. You're welcome, sweetheart. Now let's have more cake. The following Monday, 2 weeks after my birthday party, my family made their final attempt. They invited me to Sunday dinner. A family meeting, they called it. We need to discuss the situation as a family, my mother had texted. Please come. 6 p.m., our house. I thought about ignoring it. But I decided to go, because I wanted them to say it. I wanted them to admit what they'd done. I wanted to hear them apologize. Sunday at 6 p.m., I arrived at my parents' house. The same house I'd grown up in. A craftsman in Terrytown with a big backyard and a wraparound porch. I'd learned to ride a bike in that driveway. Had my first kiss behind that oak tree. This house held all my childhood memories, good and bad. I walked in. My parents, Madison, and Aunt Karen were all sitting in the living room, waiting for me. Lily, my mother said, standing up. Thank you for coming. Let's get this over with, I said, sitting down on the couch across from them. My father started, Lily, we asked you here because this situation has gotten out of hand. Your posts on social media have caused a lot of damage. Madison has been getting hateful messages. Our friends are asking uncomfortable questions. This needs to stop. Okay, I said. I'll take down the posts. Everyone looked relieved. If you admit what you did and apologize, I continued. The relief disappeared. Admit what? My mother asked. Admit that you forgot my birthday for 5 consecutive years. Admit that you spent over $100,000 on Madison's celebrations while spending nothing on mine. Admit that you treated us differently and that it was wrong. We didn't treat you differently, my mother said. Yes, you did. I have documentation. I pulled out my laptop. Opened the 18-page report I'd created. Let's go through this together, shall we? I turned the laptop so they could see the screen. Started with page 1. This is a comprehensive breakdown of every birthday celebration from the past 5 years. Madison's 23rd through 27th birthdays. My 26th through 30th birthdays. Let's start with the money. I pulled up the spreadsheet. Showed them the numbers. Madison's 23rd birthday, $4,200. My 26th birthday, 0 is Madison's. 24th birthday, $4,500. My 27th birthday, $0 Madison's. 25th birthday, $18,000. My 28th birthday, $0 Madison's. 26th birthday, $35,000. My 29th birthday, there's Madison's. 27th birthday, $41,700. My 30th birthday, before I planned my own party. $0. Total spent on Madison, $103,400. Total spent on me, $0. Silence. Do you dispute these numbers? I asked. That's not entirely accurate, my father said. We've given you gifts over the years. When? Name one birthday gift you've given me in the past 5 years. He couldn't. Exactly, I said. Let's move on. Social media posts. I pulled up screenshots. These are your Facebook posts for Madison's birthdays. I've printed them. I handed out copies. Madison's 23rd. Happy birthday to our beautiful daughter. So proud of the woman you're becoming. 47 likes. Madison's 24th. Another year older. Another year more fabulous. Happy birthday, Madison. 63 likes. Madison's 25th. Long paragraph about how special Madison is. 89 likes. Madison's 26th. To our incredible daughter on her special day. We love you more than words can say. 102 likes. Madison's 27th. Happy birthday to the light of our lives. 76 likes. I looked up. Now, these are your posts from my birthdays over the same time period. I handed out another sheet. It was blank. Notice something? There aren't any. Not one post. Not one public acknowledgement. Not one happy birthday. Nothing. We don't post on social media as much as we used to, my mother said weakly. You post about Madison every year, just not about me. Let's move on, I said. Text messages. I pulled up screenshots of conversations. These are texts where I directly mentioned my birthday to you, and you ignored it or brushed it off. March 14th last year, me to Mom. My birthday's tomorrow. Mom. That's nice, dear. No follow-up. March 15th, my actual birthday. Radio silence. I have 4 other examples just like this. I clicked through them, showed them each one. Now let's talk about awareness. The claim is that you forgot my birthday accidentally, that you were busy, distracted, that life got away from you. But here's the thing. Forgetting once is an accident. Forgetting twice is careless. Forgetting 5 times in a row? That's not forgetting. That's a choice. That's not fair, Madison said. Isn't it? When did you last forget something 5 years in a row? She didn't answer. Let's also note that during these 5 years, you've never forgotten Madison's birthday. Not once. You've planned elaborate celebrations months in advance. You've coordinated vendors, venues, travel. You've posted about it extensively. You've spent thousands and thousands of dollars. So the excuse that you're too busy or too scattered doesn't hold up. You have the capacity to remember. You just choose not to remember mine. This is ridiculous, my father said. You're putting us on trial. No, Dad. I'm showing you evidence of something you did. Something that hurt me deeply. And I'm asking you to acknowledge it and apologize. Fine, my mother said. I'm sorry we forgot your birthday there. Happy? No, I said. Because that's not a real apology. A real apology acknowledges the specific harm and takes responsibility. Try again. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. Excuse me? Say, I'm sorry that I forgot your birthday for 5 consecutive years while planning elaborate celebrations for your sister. That was wrong and it hurt you. I take full responsibility for making you feel invisible and unvalued. Say that. I'm not saying that. Why not? If you're actually sorry, you should be able to articulate what you're sorry for. Because you're trying to humiliate me. No, Mom. I'm trying to get you to understand what you did, but you don't want to understand. You just want me to be quiet and stop embarrassing you. You are embarrassing us, Madison said. You've made our family look terrible online. I documented what happened. If that makes the family look terrible, maybe the family should examine its behavior instead of blaming me for talking about it. You're so bitter, Madison said. You've always been jealous of me. This isn't about birthdays. This is about you resenting my success. Your success? I laughed. Madison, your success is subsidized by our parents. They've given you thousands of dollars for content creation equipment. They've paid for your trips that you turn into Instagram posts. They've funded your entire lifestyle. I'm not jealous of that. I'm pointing out that you've been handed opportunities and financial support that I never got. That's because I'm doing something with my life. I'm building a brand. You're just sitting in an office doing boring marketing work. And there it is, I said quietly. The reason? I'm boring. I'm not Instagram worthy. My life isn't interesting enough to celebrate, so I don't matter. That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said. I closed my laptop. I looked at all of them. Here's what I wanted from this conversation. An acknowledgement that you treated me poorly, a genuine apology, and a commitment to do better. But I can see I'm not going to get that. You're more concerned with your image and Madison's feelings than with the fact that you forgot my existence for 5 years. So here's what's going to happen instead. I'm keeping the posts up. I'm keeping my boundaries. And I'm done trying to make you see me. If you ever want a relationship with me, a real relationship based on mutual respect and effort, you know where to find me. But I'm not going to keep showing up for a family that doesn't show up for me. I stood up, started walking to the door. Lily, wait, my mother said. I stopped, turned around. If you walk out that door, my father said, don't bother coming back. We're done enabling this victim mentality. Good. I said. I'm done enabling your favoritism. I left. Got in my car, drove home, and for the first time in 5 years, I felt free. The weeks after that dinner were surprisingly peaceful. My family stopped calling, stopped texting, stopped trying to contact me at all. They'd given up. Or maybe they'd decided I wasn't worth the effort. Either way, I was okay with it. I kept the Instagram and Facebook posts up. They continued to be shared, commented on, discussed. My story resonated with thousands of people, and that mattered more than my family's approval ever had. 1 month after my party, I got a message from a literary agent. Hi, Lily. I saw your Instagram post and I've been following your story. Have you ever considered writing a book? I think your experience would resonate with a lot of people. Would you be interested in discussing this further? I stared at that message for a long time. A book? I'd never thought about writing a book. But as I thought about it, I realized I had a lot to say. About family dynamics, about favoritism, about being the forgotten child, about documentation and boundaries and choosing yourself. I responded, I'd be interested in learning more. We set up a call. We talked for an hour. She explained that there was a market for memoirs about family dysfunction, especially when told with the kind of clarity and evidence I'd presented. Your documentation is compelling, she said. Most people can feel that they've been treated differently, but they can't prove it. You have proof. That's powerful. 3 months later, I signed a book deal. It wasn't a huge advance, but it was enough to feel validated, enough to feel like my story mattered. I spent the next 6 months writing, expanding on the documentation, exploring the psychology of favoritism, interviewing experts on family dynamics, including stories from other people who'd reached out to me with similar experiences. The book came out a year after my 30th birthday party. It was titled The Forgotten Child Breaking Free from Family Favoritism. It sold modestly at first, but then it got picked up by a book club, then another. Then it started appearing on books to read lists. Then it hit the New York Times bestseller list. And my family saw all of it happen in real time, because even though they'd cut me off, they were still following my social media. 2 years after my 30th birthday, my book had sold 200,000 copies. I'd done interviews on podcasts, appeared on morning shows, spoken at conferences. I'd become, ironically, the kind of public figure that Madison had always been, except I'd done it by being honest about pain instead of posting curated perfection. My book resonated because it told the truth, because it validated feelings that so many people had but didn't know how to articulate, because it offered a roadmap for setting boundaries and choosing yourself. And through all of it, my family stayed silent. They didn't reach out, didn't congratulate me, didn't acknowledge the book's existence, which was fine. I didn't need them to. But then, on my 32nd birthday, I got a letter, handwritten, from my mother. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. The letter was 4 pages long. I'll summarize the important parts. Dear Lily, it's your birthday. I remember. I want you to know that I remember. I've been in therapy for the past year. Your father and I both have, separately and together. We've been working through a lot of things, including how we treated you and Madison differently. My therapist asked me to read your book. I didn't want to. I was angry that you'd written it. Angry that you'd shared our family's private business with the world. But she insisted. So I read it. And Lily, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for forgetting your birthdays. I'm sorry for prioritizing Madison's celebrations over yours. I'm sorry for making you feel invisible in your own family. I'm sorry for not listening when you tried to tell us how hurt you were. I'm sorry for dismissing your feelings as drama and jealousy. I'm sorry for all of it. You were right about everything. We did treat you differently. We did favor Madison. We did make you feel like you didn't matter. And that was wrong. Deeply, inexcusably wrong. I don't have a good explanation for why we did it. Madison was easier. She was outgoing and social and her life was exciting. You were quieter, more independent, and we took that to mean you didn't need us. But that wasn't fair to you. You deserved to be celebrated just as much as she did. Your father and I have talked a lot about our mistakes, about the damage we caused, about how we can't undo the past. But we can acknowledge it and try to do better going forward. I know I can't ask for your forgiveness. I know you might never want a relationship with us again. But I wanted you to know that I finally understand what we did to you. I finally see it clearly. And I'm truly, genuinely sorry. Happy birthday, Lily. I hope it's wonderful. I hope you're surrounded by people who love you and celebrate you the way you deserve. Love, Mom. I read that letter 3 times. Cried the first time. Felt angry the second time. Felt something softer the third time. It was a real apology. Specific. Taking responsibility. No excuses. No deflection. Just acknowledgement of harm and genuine remorse. It was what I'd wanted 2 years ago. But now I wasn't sure what I felt. I didn't respond to the letter immediately. I needed time to think, to process, to figure out if I wanted to open that door again. 3 weeks later, I sent a brief email. Mom, thank you for the letter. I appreciate the apology. It means something to me that you've done the work to understand what happened. I'm not ready for a full relationship yet. I'm not sure if I ever will be, but I'm willing to talk. Maybe coffee sometime in the next few months. We can take it slow and see what happens. No promises, no expectations. Just a conversation. Lily, she responded the next day. I'll take whatever you're willing to give. Thank you for being open to talking. I love you. Mom. We met for coffee 4 months later. It was awkward at first. We made small talk about weather, work, her garden. Then she asked about the book. It's doing well, I said. I'm proud of you, she said. Are you? Or are you embarrassed? Both, she admitted. I'm embarrassed that we're in it, that people know how we treated you, but I'm proud that you wrote something that's helping people, that you turned your pain into something meaningful. Thank you. Have you talked to Madison? No. She's struggling. The book didn't paint her in a good light. She's lost some followers, some brand deals, people calling her out for how she treated you. I didn't write the book to hurt her. I wrote it to tell the truth. I know, but the truth has consequences. We talked for 2 hours. She told me about therapy, about the work she was doing, about the ways she was trying to be better. I told her about my life, my work, my friends. It wasn't a full reconciliation. We weren't suddenly close. But it was a start. A small, cautious start. Today, 3 years after my 30th birthday party, I'm doing well. Really well. I'm 33 now. I have a career I love. A book that changed my life. A second book in progress. A community of people who found healing in my story. A chosen family of friends who show up for me consistently. Real relationships based on mutual respect and effort. I still have limited contact with my parents. We have coffee every few months. They remember my birthday now. They send cards, they call. They're trying. It's not perfect. It might never be perfect, but it's better. I haven't spoken to Madison in 3 years. She never apologized. Never acknowledged what she did. Never took responsibility. I've seen her posts online occasionally. She's rebranded herself as an authenticity coach, which is ironic given how fake her life always was. She has fewer followers now, but she's still out there, still performing, still curating. I don't hate her. I don't feel anything toward her, really. She's just someone I used to know. As for me, I celebrated my 33rd birthday last month. I threw myself a party, not as big as the one 3 years ago. Just 20 close friends, a private room at my favorite restaurant, good food and wine and conversation. Simple, meaningful, perfect. And this time, my parents sent me flowers, with a card that said, "Happy birthday, Lily. We love you and we're proud of you. We hope your day is as special as you are." It was a small thing, but it mattered. Not because I needed their validation anymore, but because it showed they were trying, that they'd learned, that they were becoming people who could show up. The best part of turning 33, I got a message from Jessica, the woman who'd reached out to me 3 years ago after seeing my Instagram post. She'd set boundaries with her own family. She'd started therapy. She'd built a life she loved. "Thank you," her message said. "Thank you for showing me it was possible to choose myself. I just celebrated my birthday with people who actually care about me. It was the best birthday I've ever had. None of this would have happened without your example. You changed my life." That message meant more than any bestseller list or book award ever could, because that's what it was all about. Not revenge, not bitterness, not holding grudges. It was about breaking cycles, about refusing to accept treatment that diminished me, about documenting the truth, about setting boundaries, about choosing myself when no one else would choose me. Looking back on that morning 3 years ago, waking up to silence on my 30th birthday, I realize it was a gift, not the silence itself, but what it forced me to do. It forced me to stop making excuses, stop minimizing my hurt, stop accepting crumbs and pretending they were enough. It forced me to document, to face reality, to build evidence, to stand up. It forced me to choose myself, and that choice changed everything. The family that forgot me for 5 years will never forget me again. Not because they've suddenly become better people, though some of them are trying, but because I made it impossible to forget. I made my absence more noticeable than my presence ever was. I claimed my worth loudly and publicly and unapologetically, and in doing so, I gave permission to thousands of other forgotten children to do the same. That's the real ending. Not perfect reconciliation, not a happy family healing completely. Just me, 3 years later, thriving, living a life where I'm seen and valued and celebrated, where my birthday matters because I matter, where I'm surrounded by people who chose me, and who I chose right back. The rooftop party was just the beginning. The real celebration has been every day since. Every day I choose myself. Every day of refusing to be invisible. Every day of existing fully, loudly, unapologetically. Every day of being finally, completely free.